It's time for the Left of Lansing Friday Short with Pat Johnston.
Here's the Friday Short for August 16th of 2024. The one part about Trumpism, or the rise of MAGA, is how some so-called old Republican Party people refuse to accept blame for the rise of MAGA. But even more, they refuse to acknowledge the part they despise the most about MAGA is how MAGA says the quiet parts out loud. Ever since Richard Nixon's resignation, the long road to MAGA was put into motion. Reagan's identity politics of the black welfare queen, George H.W. Bush using Willie Horton ads, George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, and Karl Rove politics of deceit and division, all of it led to Trump and MAGA. What the old-time Republicans despise the most, though, or refuse to be truthful about, is how open MAGA is with their racism, misogyny, and authoritarian dreams. For example, let's just stay here in Michigan. The MAGA Christian Nationalist faction of the Ottawa County Board of Commission, known as Ottawa Impact, lost its majority in last week's state primaries. So yeah, there was a little bit of celebration. However, there's more. They lost to so-called conservative Republicans who didn't like how much Ottawa Impact's actions riled up not only Democratic voters, but also independents. Make no mistake, though, it's not that they were against the policies Ottawa Impact pushed, or at least most of them. They just didn't like the way OI went about it. Trust me, they loved how the MAGA Ottawa Impact majority gutted the county's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion office. Don't look for that office to just all of a sudden get reinstated if these guys get back into power. Now, let's look at the battle for the state house. Democrats have the state trifecta in state government and have passed many common-sense progressive bills in the last couple of years. That meant that he also spent time erasing the so-called legacy bills signed by former Republican Governor Rick Snyder, including right to work for less and restoring prevailing wage for many working Michiganders. Now, Rick Snyder portrayed himself as non-MAGA and that he was a businessman kind of Republican who didn't get into the extremes of politics. So that means then Rick Snyder's busy trying to defeat the extreme MAGA Michigan Republican Party this November, right? Nope. Snyder, along with Kalamazoo pharmaceutical heir Bill Parfit, are out there trying to raise money for the state house MAGA Republican candidates. Oh, and here's a little tidbit many have forgotten. Parfit faced sexual harassment charges from a former employee who claimed that he also fathered 2 of her kids. A rich guy accused of sexual harassment who used the power of his position to do whatever he wanted? Well, that sounds familiar within the MAGA Republican Party, right? Well, both the woman and Parfit agreed to end the suit in 2018, but this is the guy that Rick Snyder's hanging out with while they're trying to raise money to get MAGA Republicans in the House majority. You see, there's no difference between old-time Republicans and MAGA. Just look at his actions or inactions as his administration poisoned Flint's water source, or how his disinvestment in public schools harmed thousands of kids, or taxing people while funneling billions of dollars in corporate tax breaks, or how he attacked thousands of Michiganders of fraudulently getting unemployment benefits when they did no such thing. Oh, and don't forget how he signed the bills MAGA Republicans passed to severely gut minimum wage raises and earned paid sick leave initiatives that the state Supreme Court just ruled was unconstitutional, so now those bills will become law next year. And let's not also forget how our infrastructure continued to crumble under Rick Snyder. Oh, and he also signed a bill allowing the old Line 5 oil pipeline to keep operating under the Straits of Mackinac. So after telling you all of that, I think you can plainly see for yourself that the old Republican Party, so-called, led to this MAGA takeover. And now old Republicans are fighting to get MAGA back into power. Old Republicans or MAGA, same as it ever was. leftoflansing@gmail.com is the best way to reach me. Subscribe to the podcast and also subscribe to Left of Lansing on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, the Gram, and Facebook. Take the battle to them.